Welcome to Communing with Divine, a podcast where I share my spiritual quest and the lessons and the insights that I've received from many divine beings and energies during meditation. I am your host, Meraki. Now, let's begin. Welcome back, and thank you for continuing to listen to my podcast, Communing with Divine. We're on episode 23, and I'll just get right into it today. January the 11th, 2023. I'm speaking with the Goddess Alethea. She's remarking on the fact that I'm seeing her more clearly again, and I am. And I see that she has a new color. The color orange has been added. She's explaining that orange has to do with communication of truth, and that being open to hearing truth when it is spoken. She says that I've entered another level of growth, and that I am to keep my heart and my mind open, that much more will come to me, and that all is well. The sages Balthazar and Melchior are saying, approach with wisdom. Wisdom's voice is quiet. It does not shout. There is peace that exists within the voice of wisdom. This peace comes from knowing the truth that lies within it. Wisdom does not have to draw attention to itself. It sits and it waits. It waits to be discovered. February the 8th, 2023. I am sitting in the center of the orb that is my universe, surrounded by divine. The Goddess Alethea is here. She has many colors embroidered on her dress, but my attention is being drawn to the color brown like twigs or tree bark, soil. I can't remember if I've noticed that color before. Alethea says, brown is the earthiness of truth. It represents how truth grounds us, because truth allows us to see clearly without the trappings of any misconception, deceptions, or misbeliefs, and this is a very grounding act. She's showing me that you can't be deceived if you stand within truth, because no deceptions exist or can exist within truth. Truth, she's saying, and as she's saying this, she's showing me a tree that's putting its roots down into the ground and standing there strong, really strong. She says truth imparts strength. It grounds and imparts great strength to those who embrace it, who stand within truth. Nothing can shake those who are rooted in truth. She's now speaking to me about something that happened with me yesterday. It was a positive thing, and she's explaining that had I not been willing to see truth, the result would have been different. That the timing was right. Too early, and it would have shocked me, but I was ready. She's saying that I stood in truth. I allowed my roots to secure me by anchoring to truth, and I allowed truth to give me strength. The realization of truth is a gift. It's a gift because it protects you from being vulnerable to the games of others. If you remain rooted in truth, the games of others will not affect you. Truth is a gift we often overlook. Truth is a gift we often run from. We're afraid of truth. We're afraid that it might hurt. We're afraid to look truth in the face, and yet truth frees us from the shackles of the lie. It frees us from the shackles of lower energies. Alethea says, to look at truth, to receive truth, you must stand strong within your true vibration and honor its resonance. Ego cannot stand in the face of truth. Only those with humility can stand within the light of truth. Ego and fear, these are illusions. She's showing me that fear and ego are the things that take us off of the path of truth and prevents us from stepping back onto the path when we come up to it again. We buy into the illusions of fear and ego because we often find them to be more seductive and more alluring than truth. But in truth, nothing is more beautiful than truth itself. Alethea says, there is a purity within truth. There is nothing to fear. Truth is not a judgment, for judgment brings fear with it. This misbelief is an illusion created by ego and by fear itself to dissuade you from embracing truth. Fear and ego whisper into your ears that truth carries judgment, but it does not. Truth is merely truth and exists without judgment and outside of judgment, for truth has no need for it. If you look at truth and accept it with humility, if you drop the veil of the illusions created by fear and ego, then truth is comforting. Truth is a homecoming. Know that nothing can harm you once you sit within truth. But think to this: the path of fear and of ego is filled with judgment and causes great suffering. Fear and ego work hand in hand. Ego is spawned from fear, and ego perpetuates fear. All for control, but control is an illusion. These energies of illusion are not you. They do not belong to you. They have no real power over you. This is truth. Waste not your energy considering why fear and ego exist. Instead, spend your energy searching for truth and stepping back into it fully. Then it will not matter whether fear and ego exist. Truth is a great gift. Truth is kindness. Truth is. Denying truth, hiding behind the veil of fear and ego, does not cause truth to cease to exist. It does not eradicate truth. It does not alter truth. Accepting the deceptions of fear and ego does not cause their mistruths to become truth. For this cannot be, as truth exists in truth only, whereas fear and ego do not exist. They are illusions. Why walk the path of fear and ego when fear cannot keep you from truth? Seek truth. Accept truth. Stand within the light of truth. For truth is what exists once you cast off the illusions of this existence. The sages Balthazar and Melchior are speaking. They're saying, there is wisdom in truth. They're so funny. They always say that. They say, there is wisdom in truth. What Alethea spoke was both truth and wisdom. There is nothing to fear within truth. Truth exists whether you wish to acknowledge her and accept her, or whether you do not. The wisdom Alethea shared was the insight into the role that fear and ego play. They are calling fear and ego the great illusions. They say it requires great wisdom and inner reflection to recognize the deceptions created by fear and ego. Both courage and clarity of vision are necessary to turn from this path to that of truth. Most live under the shadow and illusions cast by fear and ego. Too many are engaged with these illusions, to their detriment. I'm being shown people who are all wrapped up in cocoon-like casings, and they don't seem to even realize it. They're just accepting this casing and its restrictions as being normal or real. There's no struggle at all that I can see. I'm being told that these people don't reflect inwardly with open eyes and honest vision because they're too afraid of what they're going to find. So they listen to more and more of the lies and deceptions of fear and of ego. That's why they're wrapped up, or that's what the wrapping represents. Each lie and each illusion that they buy into leads to another layer of this wrap being drawn around them. And the cocoon is made from a very dark cloth, the color of shadows. It's almost like a shroud, a burial shroud, or the casings that mummies are wrapped in. The cloth is just wrapping around and around and around them like a cocoon to the point where they don't see any way out. I don't even know if they can look out through this shroud-like cocoon to see that truth is there, that it exists. Maybe they can see through it? You know, like if you put material over your eyes and you looked directly at the sun, sometimes you can see the light making its way through the little holes in the material, through the spaces that exist between the threads. But I'm getting the sense that it's very hard and that truth appears very dimmed and dull to them. It's hard for them to see. This is what I'm understanding. And with each time they believe the fear and the ego, they get wrapped by another layer of this cloth. They could be completely surrounded by the light of truth and they won't see it. In fact, they fear it. Because they're so used to the lies, they've listened too much to the deceptions of fear and ego that they fear truth. The sages say, beware the shroud. Jesus is speaking. He's saying that I'm doing well and that yesterday was a huge step for me. The recognition of what was happening within me, detaching from fear and from ego, the recognition and acceptance of truth, that it was a big day for me. Jesus says, be patient, for it takes time. Just for reference, I was getting frustrated the other day when I was typing up some of my meditations because some of these meditations are so deep and insightful, and I find them quite moving and important, at least from my perspective. Somebody else might think of them as very run-of-the-mill. But anyway, I came upon a part that I wasn't overly wowed by, and I started to think things like, oh, come on, how can I share this with the world? It's not important, it's a waste of time. And then, as I continued typing the same conversation, I found that it led to an amazing revelation, for me anyway, and I felt embarrassed and humbled at what I had thought before. And then I remembered that divine does things in a very deliberate way, and I really shouldn't be doubting them. Divine knows what they're doing, and I don't. And what I thought of as unimpressive information was shared in order to lead the way to a greater insight. And at that moment, I realized that all of what divine shares is not just important, it's essential. And it is shared as it is shared in order to effortlessly move us into a place of understanding where the lessons and the messages unfold easily and take on deeper meaning. But I was listening to my fear and ego instead of trusting divine. Fear of being found to be boring and uninteresting, ego thinking that what comes to me should be of great insight, and my ego questioning the divine. And then I got pie on my face as soon as I realized the great and deep insight that followed the information that I thought wasn't all that important. But this time, for once, I immediately realized what was going on, and I dealt with it immediately. So, there you go, I'm making progress. Jesus is explaining that growth and applying the lessons I have learned takes time. There are steps to the process, and sometimes I will take backward steps so that I can then leap forward. But I must be patient. This can't be rushed. He says you cannot fly too close to the sun too soon. Thank you. I'm speaking with Mary. Mary is advising me to just keep walking towards truth, looking at truth, sitting with truth, and to keep a sharp and ever-vigilant eye on fear and ego so I can catch them at their game of deception from the outset and put a stop to it. February the 10th, 2023. Mother Universe looks amazingly clear to me today. Her gown is dazzling. When I connected with her, I could see the dial that she's organized for me, and the dial was in alignment. All the dots were lined up. And there is a beam of energy that goes from the dial above Mother Universe to a replica of that dial that's in my head. Mother Universe did this for me as well. She placed a dial, or a reflection of the dial, into my forehead, my third eye, and they're connected by a beam of energy. It's a way to help me to be in constant connection and awareness with my progress, and it's been amazingly helpful. Mother Earth explained that the dial will remain in alignment until what has already occurred within the energetic realm is seen through to completion within the physical realm. And then, once that happens, it will reset to reflect the next challenge or group of challenges, as I explained before. So, all of the work that I've done has already been realized energetically. They are already what is in the energetic realm. And now they are in the process of physically coming into being as the what is in the physical realm. The reason she explained this to me was because I asked if the dial was going to reset now that it was aligned. I had forgotten that she said it would remain as it is until things come into being here in the physical reality. Mother Universe also explained that the dial will not only remain in alignment until that moment, but that it will also continue beaming its energy and maintaining a connection with the dial that's in my third eye. From what I understand, this seems to help to bring into being into the physical. So that was really exciting. This really was an important thing for me to understand, that while it's already the what is in the energetic realm, that I need to continue to hold that energy and not waver, to know that it is done, but to maintain what I've achieved and enjoy watching it come into being here in the physical. So I have discovered that I'm missing some of the transcripts of the recordings that I did of my meditations. So I'm going to go back and try and find them at some point, but not now. There are reasons for everything, and the fact that some are missing tells me that they were not meant to be shared at this time. But what I will do is fill in the missing information that we haven't covered because I haven't found the transcripts if I think it's needed. And this session requires a small explanation. I discovered that the third perspective that I've described in other episodes are through the eyes of the Watcher. I can't see him yet, but I can observe myself from his perspective. So I hope that helps everyone to understand this next session. February the 11th, 2023. I don't know if anyone is going to come forward to speak with me today. I'm really seeing all of the divine very clearly. I love when I have this clarity of perception. I'm going to switch the perspective of the Watcher, who I am a small part of. The Watcher is another perspective that I have. I'm just calling him the Watcher because I can't see him, but I can see from him. I don't really know much about this particular perspective, but it's a perspective that can see the physical me as I sit here on the couch on Earth. And I can observe the energetic me as I sit in the womb of my universe, surrounded by the divine. But I can't really see the Watcher from either of those perspectives. I can only see from the Watcher, if that makes any sense. The Watcher is interesting because he does just that. He watches, he observes. And I have no idea what that part of me actually is. If there were directions in truth, like up and down, left and right, then the Watcher would stand above and to the back of me at a great distance. And I wonder if that's what I feel behind me sometimes when I'm doing my calling in. But I don't know. It's all very mysterious. I feel that I will find out more about the Watcher eventually. I may not know what the Watcher is, but I do know what he is not. He's not my higher self. He is not my ether self, both of whom I can see clearly and in full. He's a different part. And whatever the Watcher is, he's a part that is very detached. I don't pick up anything that we would categorize as emotion. He feels completely neutral, as if he has no invested interest in anything going on one way or the other. But not in a cold way, in a reserved, removed, kind of ancient way. It's as if he's too ancient to get caught up in my dramas or in the dramas of my everyday human existence. I'll put it that way. He's just observing. I also don't get any sense from this perspective of opinions. I mean, like, it doesn't feel as if he holds any opinions. I just get a strong sense of being in a state of neutrality and of ancientness. It feels as if it's an older aspect of myself that my consciousness now is only a small part of. My consciousness now is only a small part of. Now, I may be completely wrong. I may be a part of this and I may not be at all. I may just be aware of the Watcher, and for reasons unknown, somehow, in my current consciousness, I can observe from the perspective of the Watcher, as the Watcher to some degree, and see what he is observing and the state of neutrality from which he observes. So, I can see what the Watcher is observing, and I can feel that there's no emotional range as humans would define it. but I don't know who the watcher is and why I can see through his eyes and from his perspective. I don't think I'm explaining this very well, but I hope I've done a somewhat decent job because it's really a remarkable thing to experience. I think it's also very interesting that these perspectives are three, and they are positioned in somewhat of a triangle. You know, the me, the human me down here, the energetic me up there, and the watcher, where I'm out behind myself, and it forms sort of a triangle, which I think is interesting. Now, back to the perspective within my orb. I'm speaking with the Goddess Alethea, and I'm thanking her for everything. She says, "You are a welcome, child. Truth is all." She's wearing her beautiful garment, but today she's showing me a different face. She looks older. She says, "Truth is ancient." So she's showing me the ancientness of herself. She says, "Truth has existed since the moment of creation. Within that moment of creation, at that moment, truth was formed. It has existed always. For know this, without truth, there could not be creation." I'm asking her what she means by this. She's explaining that even before the primordial, truth had to exist in order for creation to be. The truth always has been and always will be as it relates to our third dimensional reality and its program. So, truth always existed, but it came into active being with this dimension when the act of creation occurred. Truth and creation are not one and the same, but they're intertwined. They are connected. I think that this is extraordinary, but also just feels right. Now we've moved on to other things, and Alethea is saying that sometimes words are hard for me to grasp, while other times things flow easily. Sometimes the combination of the word and the visual can trip me up. I struggle a bit. She's explaining that this happens when I have preconceived ideas which cause resistance. I know this is true, so I work all the time to identify and deconstruct them so they will move out of the way and the information will flow unimpeded and unaffected by them. It can be hard sometimes, but I'm vigilant and divine points these things out to me and I accept them. So when I struggle, it's not because things aren't being made clear to me, but more from the fact that I have to work to identify and deconstruct my preconceived ideas as I'm working with divine, if things should come up. The Goddess Alethea says that because I'm open to truth, and I'm open to being corrected, and because I don't fear truth, I always take the steps I need to sort of clear the logjam and allow the river of information to flow. And that when I don't get the lessons in their totality the first time, the lessons will revisit themselves when I'm ready to perceive them in their completeness and understand them more perfectly. So that's good to hear. I'm speaking with the god Gnosis now. He's been somewhat quiet recently, so it's nice to have him come forward to speak with me. He says that I've been doing my work and that he's proud. He says he's been observing me. He's saying that the work I did with my own fear and ego was very important and that I should be pleased at how quickly I was able to release it all. He's pointing out to me that the minute I realized what was happening within me, I immediately embraced humility and celebrated my averageness. And with this, I allowed the what is from the energetic world to enter into the physical. That level of humility was an awareness and an acceptance of truth, of inner truths and inner knowledge, and understanding what those meant. He said that I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw myself in truth, and I was not afraid. Gnosis is explaining that now that I've accepted this with truth and humility, I will be allowed to see more of the gifts within that truly exist within me, not the ones that I want to be there, not what I think should be there, not what I hope will be there, but that are there and that exist in truth. By shifting ego out of the way, I allowed what truly exists within me to emerge, because it had been hidden, it had been overlaid. I'm being shown it's been overlaid by all of these misbeliefs and ideas that other people put on me, and this was being reinforced and perpetuated by ego. He's saying for me to sit where I am in this energy, sit in self-love and in trust, remain open, and amazing things will be revealed. I'm speaking with Balthazar and Melchior, the sages. They're echoing what Gnosis said, which is that this was a huge thing for me. They say, with this, you have removed a barrier to wisdom. They're showing me a door with a keyhole, and how I could look through the keyhole and see truth, but only as it presented itself in a narrow section that I could see. If truth walked in front of the keyhole, I could perceive it. I could see into the room where truth resides, and I could maneuver my position or my angle that I was looking through the keyhole so that I could see a little bit more to the left or a little bit more to the right. But my ability to see was greatly impeded and limited. But they are explaining that with the work I've done, I've opened the door, that I'm standing at the threshold of the room, unimpeded by the restrictions of the keyhole. And so much more can be revealed to me, and already has been. This is true. They're explaining to me that I'm at the threshold of being able to step into this room unfettered by the blinders that I had accepted from other people and that I allowed ego to put on me. And so my learning and my understanding will increase dramatically. Now I'm speaking with the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. They say, continue along this path so that you may understand the many parts of the whole. They just combined as one, and they came in around me. I am encompassed within the energy of their combined perfection, the completeness of male and female, of God and Goddess, coming together as one, and it's absolutely amazing. Mother Universe says to me, remember, there are no accidents. She's saying this because I was drawing her, and on the front of her dress I saw and I drew the number 3, as well as a vortex or a black hole. So she's referring to what I drew and letting me know that this was no accident. She says that these symbols are significant. She's saying that the number 3 and the vortex represent bringing in the energy of the what is that I created in the energetic realm to this 3D physical realm. And so what I perceived was not an accident, it was a symbolic message from her, and I thank her for that. The ether is here, encouraging me to allow her to facilitate the transfer of energy that I have created in the energetic realm to the physical realm. She's encouraging me to remain open to this traveling through her, through the ether. She says, all is well, all is well. February the 11th, 2023. I thought that maybe I should explain the situation with the dial a little bit better. I realized that the dial that's in my third eye and the dial that's in the energetic realm are connected through a constant beam of energy. This is very interesting, I think. When I first saw the dial, Mother Universe beamed energy into my heart, and the dial beamed energy to my third eye, and I didn't really think any more about it. Then yesterday and today, I noticed that that beam was still there as I did my meditation. So I asked about it, and Mother Universe explained that there is a dial in my third eye that is there permanently, and that because I've done my work and all the dots are aligned on the dial in the energetic realm, the one in my third eye reflects that progress because both dials are connected to each other through the beam of energy. So, the dial that represents the what is in the energetic realm is constantly connected to the dial in the physical realm that represents the what is here, even though the work has not been fully realized in the physical dimension. And she counseled me that every once in a while during the day, I'm to bring my awareness to the dial in my third eye to acknowledge and reinforce the connection between the two. All right, well, that's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you'll join me for the next one. Have a great day.